On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We are noticing a huge thing right now. You know what that is? The cream rises to the top. And you know what? I think a lot of you guys are starting to realize, I think I'm cream. We are rising to the top, and we've got some wonderful people that are doing the same with us and making a difference. These two people I'm kind of featuring today. In general, I mean, you guys know I do a news, I'm going to cover them, but there's like 100 things I'm going to talk about today, almost legitimately. Let's get started because it's literally almost 100 things. MSNBC makes eye-opening admission about the $500,000 Kamala Harris gave the host Al Sharpton's nonprofit. Al Sharpton's organization, National Action Network, received $500,000 when he decided to interview Kamala Harris. Now, again, how does one blow through $1 billion? Well, this kind of stuff happens. And look at the people that got the payouts. Where'd that money come from? Was it dark money? Was it money that people donated? I mean, all the above. It's an interesting problem that they're dealing with. This is fun because Anthony Weiner's laptop, SDNY, by the way, is where that one is. 9 out of the 12 New York Police Department officers that saw this supposedly, they committed suicide. Bullet shots, self-inflicted gunshot wounds to the head. Interesting. This is back in the day. Back in 2020, this lady been fighting for her life also, like so many people. She was an extraordinarily established attorney and all of this nonsense, and they attacked her like crazy. I mean, again, this machine that we're fighting against was bar none, no pun intended.
On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which I don't know if you heard this. I wrote an article about that too. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary, and it included what Comey called I must wave my hands more than most people. The golden emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposedly just looking for everywhere very diligently. Well, guess what they did when they found them on the Weiner laptop? They got a search warrant for things that didn't include the BlackBerry backup emails. So when they told us, when he stood there and said that day, oh, you know, we've reviewed all the emails now, there's nothing there, that was a bald-faced lie. They specifically did not look at the BlackBerry backups, and they didn't look at a fraction of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up. It's bad.
She had a fight in front of her, I mean, for sure. And obviously you're not allowed to step outside of the boundaries. And this is one of the many, many things that had happened. And they talked about how they wouldn't let the case move forward, and they didn't really use a legitimate means of doing it. In fact, they ignored certain evidence and then spoke about all of the evidence broadly, not specifically, but broadly. And so everybody that's listening assumed they were saying, the laptop's got nothing on it, but they were specifically ignoring parts of it that they knew had salacious stuff. So when the FBI or whoever it was that made the statement, I forget who it was back then, said there's nothing on there. Well, that's legally true, but from a standpoint of what people understand and believe and get from what you just said, that's horrifyingly factually incorrect. So a lot of people ran around and said, there's nothing on there. And it's like, no, there was. They just couldn't talk about it. It's Well, it's where we're at today. It's one of the fun parts of today. Yeah, we love it. We sure do. Okay, there we go. Oh, here's some Donald Trump action regarding the war that's, well, this is about 2 seconds away from getting out of control. Again, is this part of the big picture, the play, the movie? Yes. How it plays out, again, a lot of you guys need to understand there's still a lot of asleep people, right? Ask yourself that. Is there still a lot of asleep people? And the answer is going to be yes, right? Now, a lot of us are just like, at this point, are just like, F them. Screw them. Well, that's not really an option, and that's not really even, I don't even know what that means, frankly. All right, screw them. Okay, now what? Because they're still there. You know? We have to figure out how to make this world better, how to bring sides together, how to find common ground, how to, well, one, keep this world from blowing itself up. And right now, a lot of these people are believing that we need to keep giving weapons, these ATACMs and stuff. Screw all this.
We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear-armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing. We have never been closer to World War III than we are today under Joe Biden. A global conflict between nuclear-armed powers would mean death and destruction on a scale unmatched in human history. It would be nuclear Armageddon. Nothing is more important than avoiding that nightmare. We will avoid it, but we need new leadership. Every day this proxy battle in Ukraine continues, we risk global war. We must be absolutely clear that our objective is to immediately have a total cessation of hostilities. All shooting has to stop. This is the central issue. We need peace without delay. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad, while they turn us into a third world country and a third world dictatorship right here at home. The State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us. It's the abolition of our national borders. It's the failure to police our own cities. It's the destruction of the rule of law from within. It's the collapse of the nuclear family and fertility rates like nobody can believe is happening. It's the Marxists who would have us become a godless nation worshiping at the altar of race and gender and environment. And it's the globalist class that has made us totally dependent on China and other foreign countries that basically hate us. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas while keeping us distracted from the havoc they're creating right here at home. These forces are doing more damage to America than Russia and China could ever have dreamed. Evicting this sick and corrupt establishment is the monumental task for the next president. And I am the only one who can do it. I'm the only one that can get the job done. I know exactly what has to be done.
I actually believe that. I don't know. Hopefully a lot of you guys do too. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Might we see in nuclear false flags? A great question that a lot of people are asking right now. This would be, I mean, first off, we've already seen there's been 3 different times where errant missiles have come from somebody else and been accused of being attacks on foreign soil. I believe Poland had 1 or 2. I think Finland had 1, or Sweden, one of the 2 of them. So this whole idea of false flags happening is definitely likely. Now, could a nuclear weapon be used? Possibly. I have strong suspicions that we aren't allowed to do that, especially if human lives will be lost. I just don't think they'll be able to. I think things will happen. It'll be thwarted, somehow stopped. I don't know. UFO flies over it and stops it. I don't know. Something will happen in reality that will prohibit a nuclear weapon from being used. But if by chance it is able to be done, I still think our network, which has already stopped multiple attempts by them to move this into a NATO country so they could escalate the war, have failed. All of them have failed. So I do believe this would fail as well. Most of us would see right through it. Like, there's no way. Because there's no way Russia's just going to nuke Ukraine. There's just no damn way. We, United States, France, and England, specifically these 3 countries, we are escalating the war. Unquestionably. It's us. 100%. And Russia is not going to escalate it further on their own without a good need. Now, France will get there, just gave permission to use their long-range nuclear, or their long-range weapons, non-nuclear weapons, in Ukraine against deeper targets. We'll see what happens, because Russia's already demonstrated their multiple entry, multiple vehicle, accurate as hell ballistic missiles, be it intercontinental or intermediate range. Both, they're doing really well. Russia's been building missiles like crazy for, 7 years before they invaded Ukraine. So 9 years now? We are we're peacetime generating weapons, and we're spending them like mad. We're giving them away to everybody else. We're in a weird place right now. Fox News' Bill Malugin is reporting from Eagle Pass. They got a cool little spiel they did here from Eagle Pass, talking about, 1, some of these nut job mayors that are saying, we're not going to do anything. And then 2, like what the actual problem is. And 3, the fact that we've got multiple people coming across the border. And we've got some other fun angles to cover this from. So yeah, the border thing's a big deal right now. And we all kind of, I think, are in agreement on that. So here's a cool little montage of stuff.
Cameras on scene in the pre-dawn hours as another group of more than 200 migrants were quietly smuggled across the border by cartels and human smugglers illegally entering Eagle Pass, Texas. Once again, there were more than 50 unaccompanied minors and children in this group. We talked to one teenage boy from Honduras who told us his cousin paid $6,000 to get him smuggled into the U.S. We also talked to a couple of little girls ages 7 and 10 from Guatemala. Take a listen.
¿Hija qué edad tiene? 10 añitos. ¿Y usted, mami? 7. ¿Vienen solas o vienen solas? Desde allá las mandaron. ¿Y tienen familia aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Sí.
¿Dónde?
Los estados.
Pero no sabes qué estado.
De Texas.
And again, they were completely alone. And as we wait for Tom Homan and Governor Abbott to arrive here, we want to take a look back at just how frosty relations got between Texas and the Biden administration. You might remember this video last year. Border Patrol was repeatedly cutting the razor wire that Texas placed at the edge of the Rio Grande here in Eagle Pass. Texas said that was destruction of their state property. They said it was a violation of state sovereignty, but it certainly didn't stop there. Take a look at this remarkable video. Also last year, the Biden administration Border Patrol even brought out an industrial-grade forklift to raise up the Texas razor wire here in Eagle Pass and get it out of the way so masses of illegal immigrants could enter the state. Now, Border Patrol's position at the time was they got to process migrants once they're on U.S. soil under federal law, but that move infuriated Texas. They sued DHS over it, but the Supreme Court ultimately sided with DHS and said they could remove the razor wire. Then look at this video. The Biden administration also sued Texas to stop the state from putting in these these water buoys in the Rio Grande here in Eagle Pass. Well, Texas just added more of those buoys to the river last week after a federal appeals court sided with Texas, and the case is ultimately expected to go up to the Supreme Court. Now, last night, Homan and Abbott were on Hannity together, where they said they're not waiting until Trump's inauguration to start working together, and they said there will be consequences for any sanctuary cities standing in the way of mass deportation efforts. Take a listen.
We're not waiting for January 20th. The planning starts now. January 20th, game on. So if they want to push back, but don't cross that line.
And Texas may end up getting the last laugh politically in all of this. Texas's busing of illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities around the country ultimately became a massive political headache and political liability for President Biden. Biden's move to also try to legalize hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants married to American spouses in the U.S. was ruled illegal by a federal judge this month. It was thrown out after the state of Texas and a handful of other states sued DHS to stop it. Dana?
All right, Bill, let me ask you something, because you talked to those two kids. How many unaccompanied children have crossed the border during the past 4 years? Do we have a number?
We do, and the numbers are jaw-dropping. I just checked the CBP data yesterday. Since the start of fiscal year 2021, most of President Biden's presidency, more than 500,000 unaccompanied migrant children have arrived at the southern border. That is enough children and minors to fill up New York City's Madison Square Garden 25 times.
Remarkable. Wow. Also, migrant crime's a real issue. What happened in this latest case in Colorado?
Yeah, so this was in Jefferson County. ICE confirming that an illegal alien from Venezuela who was caught and released at the border in El Paso, Texas in September 2023 was arrested by authorities in Jefferson County for raping a 14-year-old girl. That girl was the daughter of his employer. He was apparently living in his employer's basement and working for him. Police say he raped his employer's 14-year-old daughter, and ICE confirming to Fox News yesterday. Again, he's a Venezuelan illegal immigrant who, tell me if you've heard this one before, was caught and released at the Texas border in September of 2023.
What a shameful legacy for the Biden-Harris administration. Incredible. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
And I guess some of it is that, because again, this is, I mean, Fox is, yeah, I guess sort of on the gooder side, if you will. They still do all sorts of crazy stuff with their stories, but I don't know, the angles they push stuff is very interesting. But all said, yeah, the border, the way that the Biden administration is, like the way they're coming out of this is they're destroyed. Like, again, it's almost become a joke, but Carter's stoked. He's no longer the worst president, easily. I think literally the next president has to come in before Carter can officially die, because he's waiting for that moment where he's, and then literally it'll be like, I don't know, 1 second after midnight on the, like the day that he'll get to enjoy being not the worst person for probably one day. It'll be awesome. It'll be a great day for him, because he's totally unaware of almost everything that happens to him. Florida CFO Jimmy Patronus sends resignation letter to run in the special election for Gates' seat. The primary election for the seat is January 28, 2025, and the general election is scheduled for April 1st. Therefore, the chief financial officer said his resignation will be effective March 31st. So, he's going after Gates' seat, right? That's what they're saying. So, cool. He's going to retire or let go at that point. Trump's giving his endorsement to Jimmy Patronus. I hope I'm saying that right. Whatever. Justin Trudeau calls Trump just 2 hours after President-elect threatens devastating sanctions against Canada, Mexico, and China to stop the border invasion. There's some point somewhere where Trump was like, look, here's the thing. If I had maybe this is it. Let's see.
Impose tough new sentences on illegal alien criminals. These include 10-year mandatory minimum sentence for anyone guilty of human smuggling, a guaranteed life sentence for anyone guilty of child trafficking, and a death penalty for anyone guilty of child or woman sex trafficking. We'll also impose the death penalty on major drug dealers and traffickers in other countries on their immigration papers. There is a statement that says, death for drug traffickers. Big letters, big bold letters. 10 times the size of everything else on the page. I saw it this morning. And those are the countries where they have no problem with drugs. Many of them, actually, We will also impose the death penalty for anyone killing our police, sheriffs, border patrol, ICE, or law enforcement officials. The death penalty with a quicker trial, not a trial that lasts for 15 years and everybody gets exhausted. We will liberate our country from the illegal alien drug dealers, robbers, murderers, gang members, and child predators. And we will make America safe again for our citizens and make it greater, stronger, better, more beautiful than ever.
Exactly. So that didn't cover quite what I was hoping. It covered some of it, which is good. But yeah, basically Trump is saying, look, here's the deal. We're going to impose sanctions if you guys don't help protect the borders. He put this out. He's like, he isn't even president yet. And so this sparked a couple things. One, Justin Trudeau immediately calls Trump, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, hey, what's up, hey, whoa, hey, stop for a second, right? Like he's, I don't know, in his Trudeau-esque kind of way, they've probably worked out some sort of deal where Trudeau's like, he gets it. He's like, okay, so I got to make sure nobody comes across. Gotcha. All right. Otherwise, okay, sure. Yeah, no problem. Kind of like when Xi Jinping was talking to him, he's like, sometimes we do things we shouldn't. And so anyway, he's just an idiot. Trudeau is, and eventually, hopefully, we'll get you guys out. But Mexico's president, or whatever she's called, I think she's president. President Claudia Sheinbaum. Yeah, she suggested Tuesday that Mexico could retaliate with tariffs of its own. Okay, Mexico, feel free. I triple dog dare you. But there are no cats in America. Streets are paved with cheese. Day after Trump threatened tariffs on Mexico. One day, Mexican President Sheinbaum and she announces, that migrant caravans are no longer reaching the U.S.-Mexico border. Somehow this has all been fixed. And for all the people out there that say tariffs are crazy, tariffs don't work, tariffs have never been done, this is such a Trump thing. George Washington signed the Tariff Act of 1789, which was one of the first acts of the U.S. Congress establishing tariffs as a significant source of revenue for the new federal government. Andrew Jackson was involved in the nullification crisis, where Southern Carolina attempted to nullify federal tariffs. Jackson responded with a proclamation asserting federal law's supremacy and threatened military action to enforce the tariffs, leading to the Compromise Tariff of 1833. Herbert Hoover signed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act in 1930, which raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods to protect American industries during the Great Depression. This act is often criticized for worsening the Depression by prompting retaliatory tariffs from other countries, which would just mean it might make it slightly harder for us to buy other countries' stuff, but hopefully we're making some of it here. Franklin D. Roosevelt used tariffs through the Reciprocal Trade Agreements Act of 1934, giving the president authority to negotiate tariff reductions, marking a shift towards more flexible trade policy. George W. Bush, 2002, much later, I want to add, over 68 years later, George Bush imposed tariffs on steel imports up to 30% to protect the domestic steel industry, which were later withdrawn after 18 months due to the economic backlash and international criticism. Pussy. Barack Obama implemented a 35% tariff on Chinese tires in 2009 to protect the domestic industry. Donald Trump extensively used tariffs during his presidency, implementing tariffs on steel and aluminum, or aluminium for my British friends, under the, even though it's not spelled like that here, aluminium. Yeah, you guys add an extra I, but I think the way you spell it, or it should be spelled with an I, maybe, I don't know. There was someone that pointed it out one time, and it was pretty damn funny when he got shafted because they actually spelled it with an I. Maybe it's just the British spelling of aluminum, and that might be part of the problem. I don't frickin' know. It's two languages separated by an ocean somehow. All that said, he did it for aluminum. He also did Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 for national security reasons, and he imposed numerous tariffs on Chinese goods under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. Dude, Trump was very good at finding all the little weird, crazy holes in the cracks. They've been planning this for a very long time, and I think they've intentionally left things kind of quiet. They're like, no, never look there. Like, point over here. You guys keep running the world from that side of the fence, and then just ignore these things over here. Joe Biden also maintained many of Trump's tariffs and imposed some new ones, such as a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles to protect U.S. industries from what it perceived as unfair trade practices, which was good because China can control that more. It's a government-funded, subsidized thing, so they can just like make the cars super cheap just to flood the market, get a bunch of people to buy Chinese cars, and destroy the U.S. automakers. Now, it's weird that Joe did that, by the way, because their plan all along was to destroy this country, but I don't think they got far enough along to be able to do this. So they're like, look, here's the thing. We're going to have to tariff the hell out of you until we can make it so you can sell your cars here and absolutely destroy the auto unions. So it's an interesting time that we live in. We're still making progress best we can, right? Let's see. Donald Trump has finally, seriously, no, literally, this sounds crazy, but finally officially won New York. Finally. 20 days after the election, Donald Trump finally won Arizona because they finally finished counting all their votes. Arizona finally finished counting votes yesterday, a mere 20 days after Election Day. Trump won Arizona by 5.5%, making it the reddest of the 7 swing states. President Trump won Maricopa County, the biggest prize in the state, by over 3%, which still makes you wonder about Kerry Lake and all the other shenanigans in this state. I assume, and here's the thing that's kind of funny, I don't know, so long as the election continued, they can't begin legal things to stop it or to go after it. So by delaying it 20 days, they also eat into how much time we have to legally go after this. Now, my guess, and we'll find out if I'm correct, pretty sure I am, we're going to hear very shortly that all sorts of lawsuits have been filed for recounts and other questions about legalities of some of the election laws, some of the things that the governor's done. There's going to be a lot of questions. And I think there's all sorts of legal avenues that they're going to push. We'll see what happens in Arizona. Certainly, Pennsylvania's got stuff going on. We've got things happening in, I believe it was Illinois, too. Also, Georgia's had all sorts of things. So we are seeing a big fight. We're doing a good job, too, I guess. Best I can tell. ABC's News' own creation bites them in the arse, it would seem. They're calling it karma. Former anchor for ABC News claims years of working in a toxic environment and enduring racist rhetoric. He wrote some new memoir and talked all about it. It was just a lot. It made me really sad. Anyway, he was the guy that actually helped spearhead the diversity task force in the hopes of seeing more black employees hired to serve in senior positions. This guy, because of how poorly these things were working, the real life numbers of it is one of my favorite things. People are like, there's something I was involved with today, and there's people making claims about something, and I was literally doing something else and looking at the metrics of it, and I'm like, unquestionably what I'm doing, I've tried what you're saying, and it didn't work. I got significantly worse results. And I'm trying this other thing, this weird thought that I thought that made sense, and I tried it, and wow, my results are significantly higher than yours. Hugely so. Like, you can keep telling me that's what I should do, and I'm going to keep saying, I don't think you're right. And here's my metrics. I got numbers. So eventually they came around, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, it's funny you should ask. And I gave them a litany of information that was probably useful. So we are fighting the fight. We are making noise. We are causing things to happen. Catherine Herridge is also bringing stuff up at CBS News, how they fired her. And she was supposed to be posting the information she was per Sherry Redstone. She was the CBS CEO. But this weird faction from the left, I don't know if it was the board or who it was, they don't really specify exactly, were a force that pushed against Sherry Redstone and basically said, no, this Hunter Biden laptop story cannot come to the surface, must stop investigating this now. So where did that noise come from when the actual owner of the company, who wanted to get it out there because she knew it'd be good for business, suddenly was told, oh, what, sorry, I can't say that? Yeah, no, you can't say that. Okay, you guys got to stop, or however it played out, or another voice was working behind the scenes. Who knows? the way it's looking right now, again, the rats are leaving the ship. So I don't think of who's actually guilty. I don't think we actually know. So we'll see. I'm just trying to bring stuff to the attention. We'll see if we can continue to keep tabs on it. Elon Musk talking to somebody that just nails this government efficiency. He's really spelling it out for all the different government groups out there that are about to have a phone call with Elon Musk. And it's going to be powerful because Elon Musk I've worked for people like this, first off. Second off, I've had many, many raises based off of this and done well on many, if not well, all of them, actually, frankly. Every time I've had to do this, I've always got stuff there to do it. But it's a question that's very appropriate, but seldom asked. It's perfectly explained here for any of you guys that don't kind of understand the way, one, efficiency works. Two, people that are like hardcore alpha when it comes to making a company awesome. Yeah, they don't have any room for people that are like full of bullshit at all. No bullshit. The bullshit meter they have is redonkulously good. In fact, admirably so. It's so cool. To meet somebody that's got that level of bullshit meter, you're like, damn, I thought he was full of shit too, but like not to the level you did. You actually were asking him piercing questions. It was freaking awesome, right? Like, it's just, you're impressed. So I kind of felt sort of like that with this dude to a degree. The way he told the story.
This moment in the Twitter takeover where Elon sends his email and he says, and the line is, what did you get done this week?
Whoa.
What did you get done this week? And in the context of Silicon Valley companies, that was a provocative statement because a lot of Silicon Valley companies take months or years to do anything. But imagine that statement being applied to the government.
Oh my God.
Right? Like the level of like accelerated time, like, okay, what are the problems? How are we going to fix them? And what have you gotten done this week?
Yeah, you think debanking upended some lives.
Yes, exactly. So yes, what have you done this week? And by the way, when Elon runs this, it's actually interesting. A guy just tweeted or posted or zeeted what it's like to work for Elon at his AI company, XAI. And he said Elon came in last week and he said Elon spent 18 hours at the office and in 5-minute chunks. And it was each person had a 5-minute speaking slot to explain to Elon what they were doing.
Wow.
And he did that for 5 times whatever, right? 18 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And so think about what that meant. Every employee had an opportunity to tell the big boss what they were working on. Every employee had an opportunity to be recognized for their effort. Every employee had an opportunity to get live feedback from the big boss who had a comprehensive overview of everything as to what they should be doing.
Whoa.
And there's no place to hide. Right.
Whoa.
And think of how different it is for a company to be run that way.
Right.
Then even the Valley companies generally are quite well run by sort of business standards. And even that, like that's a level of intensity that most Valley companies aren't even close to.
Now imagine that applied to government.
And again, this is the kind of thing. There's no law there's no reason it can't be done. There's no law that prevents that. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't do that. It's a choice. How the government is run is a choice on the part of the executive branch and the president for how it's going to get run.
It's interesting how he breathes through his nose. It's weird how certain things bug me as a person. Like I when I listen to my own shit, it pisses me off. I do all sorts of things. Trust me, guys. I'm far from perfect. But there are certain things. It's just like, I'd work on that. And I do. There's a lot of things. Wasting time I haven't gotten good at yet. It's coming, though. One of these days I'll be like, dude, seriously, you've got to cut back on all the stupid shit. All right. It would help me, probably. All said. Elon Musk's X Corp files objection to the sale of X accounts owned by Alex Jones. They literally are trying to say, well, you're going to have to give those X accounts over to these other people. And Elon Musk's like, that goes against my terms of service, so no. Sorry. They can create new ones or whatever. That's fine. I don't care. But they don't. No, I'm not transferring these. I don't do that. That's not okay against my terms of service. So, of course, they're going to be like, wait, what? We said you have to. And he's going to be like, I've got my own rules and stuff. You guys can't just make up shit and tell me to do it. Like, that's not legal. So, yeah, there's a whole separate possible court case that's coming there. That should be fun. Messaging app Telegram has, done super well, in fact. With everything going on, they apparently created some sort of cryptocurrency that they use. I didn't know that, and they've also got a lot of advertising. Be very careful with their advertising, folks. They claim a lot of the channels that'll show up at the bottom of stuff. I would say overwhelmingly, I want to say 100%, but maybe one's been legit, and I'm just not sure. But they're all claiming to be things that I'm 100% sure they're not. So just be very mindful of anything on Telegram. Telegram is, I don't want to say the wild, wild west. It's just very open. You are very exposed. It's It's not super safe. People will route you to places you shouldn't go. So just be very careful. Don't trust people. Don't just download stuff. Don't just click on stuff and put passwords in. Just don't. Say, where's the place you want me to go? Show me the link. Don't just give me some crazy little stupid link. And if you do, then you got to learn to copy that link and see what the address is before you go there. But a lot of those places are very bad. So again, just be very careful. All set. Telegram's doing very well. I like that. I use Telegram extensively. A lot. Large portion of some of the good stuff I get comes from Telegram. So it is an excellent source of information. Just one that you've got to use carefully. Very carefully. And it's, messenger friendly too. A lot of you guys have tried to talk to me. I just not very talkative on the platforms. I just don't. It's too much time. It's brutal. I don't know how Musk does it, frankly. He's superior to me. The dude's miles ahead. I work a normal job and then I do this. I just don't know how they fit all the time in. It's just weird. It's crazy. But I love everybody. I wish I could. I really do. It'd be rad. If I could work at a coffee shop or a bar and just have you guys come visit me, that would be rad. I would have the best time. Every single day would be the best day. Like it would be magic. It would be magic. Just unfortunately weird like this new world. I don't know what it is. Video platform Rumble plans to buy up to $20 million in Bitcoin in a new treasury strategy. Good stuff. I obviously got some cash. Thanks, Rumble. Maybe dial back on the advertisements a little bit on our people out there, maybe. But all said, that's cool. It's good investment, and I love Rumble. I've literally got stock in Rumble. Not much, but I've got a few thousand shares, and it's like I said, I put my money where my mouth is, and I actually think they are going to be the future. I think YouTube's going to have a problem at some point. That's, I guess, what I'm thinking. Bond manager Ken Leach, charged with $600 million fraud. He's the former co-chief investment officer of Western Asset Management Company, WAMCO, if it matters. He was long known as the other bond king. Bill Gross apparently is the original bond king. So all said, WAMCO has one time managed more than $300 billion in assets for clients, and Leach directed the firm's investment strategies. So, Manhattan federal prosecutor alleges that Leach defrauded Western Assets clients from 2021 to 2023 by cherry-picking trades or assigning favorable trades to certain portfolios and losing trades to others. Meaning, if you're one of the small people, you got the loser stocks. But if you're one of the good people, you got the good stocks. So your portfolio looked better. Technically, you all invested in this 100 companies or whatever, less than that, but whatever, 100 companies, right? But 20 of those companies sucked balls. Well, we're going to base your portfolio off of those 80 companies, not the 100. And so their numbers are better. They made more money, on paper at least. And there you go. So it was a weird little shenanigan they were doing with their friends. Now, of course, Leach says, that's not true. I never did this. Whatever. We'll find out what happens, what comes from it. Axios is putting this out, which is also interesting. So they're probably trying to get us pissed off about somebody that maybe Trump wants to use. Whatever the case is, who knows? Rabbit Hole posted this. It's kind of good to keep in mind. It took over 200 years for the U.S. debt to reach $12 trillion. 12 trillion is how much we added in 4 years between 2020 and 2024. Now, again, COVID was a big part of that, but since then it's gone skyrocketed. You see this spike here, right, guys? This is our economy. This is our dollar. Trump can come in and do a lot of things. He can get inflation down to zero. Cool. Right now we're looking at 2% value of what our dollar was, as opposed to way back over here where it was worth 100% of what it was. So back in 1800, well, really, whenever, we decoupled after we decoupled from gold after the Great Depression, right? Wasn't that Roosevelt that got us out of all that and got us onto this path where they made it illegal to own gold, basically, and then they immediately raised the price after they took everyone's gold, which is so fucked up. Like, a lot, too. Like, compared to what they were charging, they raised it like, $7-8 or something. A lot. And then, it went up a bunch, but it stayed flat until Carter. Used to be the worst president. And look where we are. Everybody always said when debt started to go hyperbolic, which is what we call a vertical line, It was too late. We're at well past too late. I don't know what that means. I can't promise, can't guarantee. We've never been here before. This is an economy collapsing that was supposed to have a war or something like that affect it, and then a huge population reduction. And so that would have affected their future planning and the new economy. But that didn't happen. That got screwed up. It's one of the myriad of reasons why I don't trust the system that we see collapsing, and I also think it's good to get out of it. An easy way to get out of a 401k or an IRA, which I think, who knows what you're invested in, or who knows if you're one of the cherry-picked people. I don't know. Again, drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. You can literally get out of your 401k IRA, tax-free, penalty-free. That means Uncle Sam can't come after you. That means you can move sideways into precious metals IRA, which you can still put money into if you'd like, and it's literally physical metals. That's part of this process too, by the way. It's removing money from the one location, turning that into precious metals, then legally wrapping itself around this whole thing. There's so many factors that go into this. It's a very complex process. And Goldco, who I'm a proud partner of, helps the channel too, by the way. Goldco is amazing at helping you get out of this system quickly, easily. As many questions as you have, their customer service is amazing. It's fantastic. Now, again, they don't buy into all my crazy stuff. They're just very, hey, you want to get out of this thing? Legally, we can help you do that. Here's how. They don't get into any of the nonsense I'm talking about. So please understand, that's not Goldco talking. It's Dan talking. This is just one of the many reasons why I love this company. I think they help people do a good thing, which is protect their wealth. And Goldco definitely agrees with that. They're helping you guys out of the system, helping you guys out of their 401k and IRA into precious metals IRA, which right now the precious metals numbers are just spiking. I mean, they have their dailies up and downs, but overall spiking. Since February, way up. Since 10 years ago, way up. Way up. And it isn't near where the max is. So in my opinion, still a good time to get in. I don't know, like I was thinking about it. I'm like, what, a month after Trump's in office? If we haven't seen a collapse, I still think some weird stuff's coming, but I don't know. Like at what point am I going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea anymore. Because I honestly think this is protection from what we're seeing. We're seeing the spikes going on right now. What can Trump do to fix this? I don't know. We're going up in debt like insanity. So bankruptcy to me seems like the most likely option. But who knows? But that would really impact your dollars and stocks, wouldn't it? Not if you had precious metals. Just saying. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. It's spiking for a reason. It always spikes. Look at the history. Whenever there's a problem, it spikes. We're low on the spike right now. It's still a good time to get in. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. Energy Department is going to, apparently, they want to anyways, deploy AI on the power grid to help with the backlog, help with managing stuff, help with all this crap, right? And they got they're a bunch of active gigawatts of projects, like 2,600 gigawatts of projects, which is, what's a petawatt next? Is that where we're at too? So 2.6 petawatts of active projects. It's a crap ton of energy. So they want AI to help manage this because they can't, because they've got such a backlog, because they keep saying, no, we'll get to it, or we've got 60 other things we got to do in order to be able to do this. Whatever the case is. They want to use AI, but then they're like, look, to do all these AI farm things that you all want to do, it requires more power. More power than we already have. So you're talking about trying to figure out how to get more power into the system. You want to suck down more power in order to figure out how to get more power. Now, it sounds brilliant. Sounds like something somebody on the left would come to terms with, because, that's a brilliant idea. Now, California is going to have a fun little moment here, and I actually think this is beautiful, and just the way, the irony of it, and the fact that I want to say the original transgender, right? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Caitlyn Jenner was one of the first stuff. I don't want to say the original name, but that Caitlyn Jenner was on the Wheaties box back in the day with a different name. But an Olympian, right? Caitlyn Jenner nailed it. Caitlyn Jenner's thinking about running against Kamala Harris as governor of California. Like, pains me to say this because of how weird that is, right? Literally have Kamala Harris running for the deep state and Caitlyn Jenner, transgender, very famous, running as, yes, the Republican candidate or whatever. Wouldn't that be interesting? First off, they're going to try to say it's a man, but it's not really a man, it's a woman, right? Very interesting. First transgender governor also would probably be pro-Trump. Think about that for 4 seconds and just mess with your head. I don't know. That used to be on a Wheaties box. Just going to say. I respect, mad respect. Could never have accomplished what this individual has. Don't think I would have made it 4 seconds in the Kardashian family. So right there, like, just annihilates me again to a whole nother level, right? Like, he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Comes here from a foreign country, doesn't even speak our language, starts working out. I'm stealing a joke from Bill Burr right now, basically, or at least his timeline, right? Like, totally nails movies, still can't speak English like Commando. Or like, what did he say? Like, go down, get down, right? Like, that's all he could do. That's why everyone makes fun of him that way. Ends up marrying a Kennedy, becoming governor of California. Like, dude's like, yeah, and then he just, and the joke I think goes into how he impregnated his housekeeper. Dude can do no wrong. He's been in the zone for so long. So it's kind of funny. 2 dudes that have been charged with swatting many members of Congress and many private people, probably Ken Poole, or Poole, what's his, Tim Poole's, being one of them, and others, of course, but he's just one that's been swatted many, many, many times. 2 dudes apparently got actually arrested. I don't know if I'm going to say their names right because there's letters that don't belong together, but Tomasz Szabo, he's 26, of Romania, and Nemanja Radovanovic, 21, of Serbia. They were both charged with 34 felony counts for allegedly perpetrating the harassment scheme. Now, the question is, does it stop? Don't know. If it does, sweet. We just got the 2 deep state mofos that have been doing this nonsense. Think about that for a second. That might be cool. All right, I got a couple pieces of speculation type stuff, if you will. President Trump is considering giving the likes of Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly a seat in the White House press briefing room instead of mainstream media. Now, this is coming from Don Jr. Don Jr.'s referencing a story where he was on Trump Force One with Trump and others, Musk and all these people, and he suggested that, hey, you should maybe redo the press room and have that kind of redone, I think, with What's-Her-Face being in charge of it. I'm drawing a blank on her name. That would be her job. But like, hey, let her kind of redo it and maybe make seats for people like Rogan and people like, Megyn Kelly. And Trump's like, that's a great idea, Don. We should maybe think about doing that. That's about as far as it went. Now, Don's talking about it because he's like excited about it. And I think it's interesting. But I also think from a logistics standpoint, like like Joe Rogan, I'm going to speak for him only in that my life is slightly similar, but not even close, right? Just in the sense that he's got a studio, he's got a comedy club, and he's got his family all right there in Texas. And that's like his love. That's his thing. Would he want to do that? Like certainly once in a while or whatever? Probably. But he does the fights once in a while because, 1, he gets paid special for it. 2, it's a chance to go and do a trip and have a thing that's kind of unique and different. 3, he doesn't do shows every day. But, yeah, gets him away from his normal routine. He wants to go back. He trains. He's a martial artist. He's proud of that. One of the strongest back kicks known out there. So, again, it's just an interesting concept. Like, would he want a permanent job as the White House press person? I'm almost 100% sure that Joe Rogan would not want that job. I even think about it from my standpoint. I'd probably get a raise, but like, I don't even think I'd want it. Like, I like what I do, and I couldn't be out there every day and still do what I do. I don't think. Like, I'd have to live in D.C. maybe, which is gross. Like, not now. It's not even close to good. I'd probably get shot, and I don't want that. Bad things happen in D.C. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So interesting little point of contention there. But we'll see what happens if it ever happens. Yeah, I mean, it is a good idea, but it's not, it's not. I don't think it's viable for a lot of people. This is also kind of cool. American Thinker posted this. President Trump is preparing to sign an executive order. Again, speculation. We don't know for sure. Now, I would be honest, I'd probably support this, but he's talking about maybe, this is the speculation, that he's going to sign an executive order to remove all transgender individuals from the United States military. Look, here's the thing. I don't got no problem with transgender people. You guys be transgender and all that. I have a huge problem with you in the military. Huge. I have a huge problem with the idea that we're supposed to, like, relax our idea about it. I frankly, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but I kind of have a big problem with lowering standards so women can necessarily go to the front lines. Look, here's the thing. Women, I don't have a problem with it. I don't like the idea of putting you on the front lines. I think that's a bad idea. But if for some reason you really, really want to, G.I. Jane, okay. You still need to pass the same stuff. Now, I don't expect you to be able to carry a man necessarily out of a bunker, but then again, you're supposed to be able to if you're on the front lines. So again, I want hardcore fighting forces. I want the best of the best on our front lines. Well, I mean, to a point. Again, if anyone can pass that test, awesome. But I don't just want anybody, because that puts other people at risk. So this is an interesting idea. I'm totally for it, by the way. And again, I'm fine with transgender people. Like the Dylan Mulvaney thing. It pisses me off that people are actually mad at Dylan Mulvaney. It's not Dylan Mulvaney's fault. I almost said his fault. It's not Dylan Mulvaney's fault, in my opinion. It's Anheuser-Busch's fault. But yet people still want to beat up on Dylan Mulvaney. Or like who's the fat girl? What's her face? Whatever the artist. And I'm not trying to be mean with the fat thing, but she gets teased hard for it. Lizzo? Yeah. That's like kind of mean. Like, that's just mean. Like, why are you making fun of somebody because they're fat? I know they say things they shouldn't. That's stupid. That's kind of, yeah. But then coming at them because they're fat? Like, dude, come on. So again, we got to find that weird common ground on a lot of materials that matter to many out there. This is awesome. Tulsi Gabbard is, this was just a great montage of Tulsi awesomeness. I mean, like her, don't like her. She's one of the people I think that's bringing this world together, and I'm so stoked to be a part of this time in history, and so proud to be a part of this team. I'm inviting myself, but I think I'm legitimately allowed to say that. I am very proud to be a part of this team.
I want to start with something that I think is also important about facts. Because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out. Some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that. I guess we're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier.
We actually have the clip of Hillary Clinton, just to put this in context of what we're talking about. Let's take a look at that.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in such a way.
But you called her the personification of rock.
So demeaned
She's a woman
in such
too.
a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police around the world, that has waged wars costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. And
What's
to
your evidence
change,
to that?
To change.
Well,
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
I served in the war
Not
in
you,
Iraq.
her. You're saying that she's
exactly.
she's a
I
warmonger.
served
How do
in
you
the
come
war
up with
in
that?
Iraq
Yeah.
that she championed. She championed a regime change war
Did you not
in
believe
Libya.
in that war?
I believe the lies that were told to us.
Well, so did she.
Look, it is indisputable to say anything other than the fact that Hillary. Let me just close this out. That Hillary Clinton, throughout her career, has led with a foreign policy of interventionism and being the world's police, going and toppling dictators in other countries that has caused such destruction and loss of life. I'm against that.
If something was so catastrophic that we did have to draft people, why shouldn't women go? But why bring it up in an election year are my two questions.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't have a draft.
At all?
No, I don't think so.
What if it's an emergency?
Well, the fact that they're bringing this up now, to me, points to the fact that the only reason we would need a draft is because our warmongering politicians are starting wars that they know the American people aren't going to support. When you look at what happened after
Well, they
the
didn't
attack
start the wars.
Well, when you
They
look at what
didn't
happened, you look at what happened after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Thousands and thousands of people from all across the country set aside their lives and volunteered because they wanted to go and fight for freedom and security and for peace. And you look at what happened after the attack on 9/11. So many Americans like myself, we enlisted to be able to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. To me, it's a big red flag that they're bringing this up right now. First of all, as we have multiple wars burgeoning around the world. But as a I've been deployed 3 times to different war zones. I don't want to be in a foxhole next to somebody who doesn't want to be there. And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party. The party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against and end slavery in this country. It is the party of common sense and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace. It's the Democrat elite and the permanent Washington establishment, the war machine made up of both Democrats and Republicans, who are abusing their power, undermining our God-given rights and freedoms enshrined in the Constitution, with one goal and objective in mind: protecting their power at any cost. Now, every member of Congress and the U.S. Senate, they all took an oath. The sad reality is that many of these very people who raised their right hand and said those words pose a direct domestic threat to the freedom of our country today.
Yeah, we are very much at a changing time. At a time where a lot of people, of course, that are programmed still asleep are going to be like, no. Right, I got you. But we control the media. We are the voice. We are the ripples. We are making the difference in a big way. Inquiry into Trump's lawyers consulting push risks undercutting signature. So this whole drain on swamp thing is interesting. Epstein, who, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I want to see this investigation go forward. Epstein supposedly made some deals. In a brief interview with Just the News, Trump said he was unaware of any staffers on his payroll that were soliciting consulting fees from people seeking jobs or endorsements from him and would not condone such behavior. Quote, I suppose every president has people around them who try to make money off of them on the outside. It's a shame, but it happens, he said. But no one working for me in any capacity should be looking to make money. They should only be here to make America great again. He also added, no one can promise any endorsements or nomination except me. I make these decisions on my own, period. He takes consultation from others, sure. That's it. It's not their decision. They don't have any say. They don't matter. If you want to get to Trump, you need to get to Trump. So Epstein is being pulled away. There's been word that Epstein's been potentially leaking, or the leaker, from the Trump campaign. Epstein was somebody that had, in my opinion, a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth anyways. Not because of anything gross, but because of just how he was. He always seemed kind of slimy to me a little bit. So again, I don't second guess what Trump's doing. Trump's figuring this out. This is, in my opinion, and at least in my head, confirmation bias maybe, sure, I don't know. You guys tell me. But to me, this is Trump like vetting his own people. Yeah, he's probably still got a few ones or twos that maybe don't have their shit screwed on just quite right. Maybe Epstein's a good guy in the big picture, and in which case I would assume Trump will give him the option to move forward, but if you ever do anything even remotely close, even sort of perceivable as what has happened, you will be gone faster than you can ever say gone. So we'll see. I feel like he's handling his stuff, and I feel like this is a little taste of what we get to experience when Trump comes into office. Trump transition team suggests sidelining top advisor over pay-to-play allegations. They're putting him to the side. They're gonna look into this. They got this dude looking into him. I'm sure he loves being called dude. His real name is lawyer, or what are they? I forget the little thing they put at the end of Esquire or whatever. Is that what they put when Esquire when they're a lawyer, right? Anyway, David Warrington, Esquire. I don't know if they'd actually say that, but lawyer David Warrington. He recommended that Trump aides sharply constrain advisor Boris Epstein's access to the president-elect's, according to persons familiar with the matter. The person spoke on the conditions of anonymity to discuss an internal matter. Now, Epstein's just funny. I don't want to... all right. I was going to say some crazy shit, but I feel like it's better not. Not that I forgot it either. That was just actual, like, a nudge. Like, if there was a voice in my ear, that was it. Anywho, the dude for the border. I feel like this doesn't belong here. Wait, did I miss something? This is probably it. Yeah. Dude. Oh, it's probably because of what's coming. Yeah, so anyway, the dude at the border is like, go ahead, Colorado governor, make my day. Or any others that do it. I just think this is cool as hell. Check this out.
We have to show the American people. We got to be transparent and show the American people why we need to secure the border. It's about saving lives. Bottom line, it's about saving lives. And I'm sick and tired of my 34 years of holding dying children, holding dead children, talking to girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times. And I've said it before, everything innocent and pure within that little girl was ripped from her, and she will never be the same. We're going to tell the story. American people need to know the story. And I think by telling that story, President Trump have the support of the American people across the board.
Hugely so. Hugely so. And like, think about like Colorado, Trend or Arawa taking over multiple apartment buildings. And happening in other places too, by the way. Oh, it's not happening. We're just trying to keep it quiet. No, you guys aren't. Maybe it's gotten better. I haven't heard anything yet. But I also haven't heard them besmirch them lately. This is one of the ladies that I can't pronounce that's been appointed. Daggum, I know she's married. But wow. Damn. Anyway, just had to be said. She's actually even smart and stuff, which makes her super cool. I don't know about the white suits. After Labor Day, right? Aren't we? Aren't we after Labor Day? I feel like you're not supposed to wear white.
School boards across the country cut the mics on parents who read passages from these books, stating, "This is inappropriate. There are children in the room." Yet those same books are being provided to children in schools. While it may seem politically convenient to scapegoat parents, I ask you to read some of these explicit paragraphs and look at these sexual images with your children or your grandchildren, and then tell your constituents whether you consider such content educational. As a society, we don't put Playboy in kindergartens. This isn't considered a book ban, but common sense. Strangely, media coverage over this issue frames any discussion at all as tyranny. It is disingenuous at best and deceptive at worst.
Yeah, I could listen to her all day. Yeah. Anyway, I'm wondering, aren't you supposed to have like a handkerchief or some shit in there? Isn't that like a hanky place holder? I don't know. Whatever. Your buddy over here next to you's got the exact same suit, just different color, right? The cut's identical. Identical. I wish I could see more. He's got a tie on and everything. Whatever. She's beautiful. She can get away with it. It's okay. She can eat cookies in bed. That's fine. I like crumbs when I sleep. They're wonderful. They're the best. We got some stuff with Trump you guys might want to hear about. Biden exits and an all-time low. Oh, Jimmy Carter's like, from death. He was dead. He was under the ground, and somehow he's like Thriller. Comes up out of the ground. Cause this is Thriller. Thriller night. I can't do the dance. I tried so many times when I was younger, but yeah, I didn't realize what color I was. It matters, I think, to some degree. So yeah, Trump Slayer, President Joe Biden, is exiting his self-imposed one term with the lowest approval rating ever. We don't trust polls, but this is the one that's going close to on record. They released, Emerson College released their Tuesday morning, and it shows a third of America, 36% approve of the Democrats, while 52% disapprove. That does sound like the majority of people don't agree with you all. I'm not an expert. Donald Trump truthed a couple things, lots of things. Says, as everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico, composed of thousands of people, seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long-simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do, it is time for them to pay a very big price. Now, we already heard how the Mexican government at first was like, yeah, we can charge you tariffs too. And everyone's like, shh. No, bad idea. They don't buy a lot of stuff from us, and anything they do buy from us, we don't want to lose, like avocados. There's one example. I have a buddy that was in the avocado industry. He's like, the Mexican avocado, it was going to ruin us. Well, it kind of did, actually. Kind of did. Much cheaper. Donald Trump truthed another thing. Yeah, I know. Who knew? Who thought? I have had many talks with China about the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail. Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this. But, unfortunately, they never followed through. The drugs are pouring into our country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never seen before. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their many products coming into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention on this matter. If you need to pee in the middle of the flight, both sides do not stand up there while there's people peeing at that time. Judge Chutkan dismisses the Trump election case. She's the Georgia one. So just messing with the Georgia election and all that, that has been dismissed. We're not going to waste any time reading her stupid words. Don't really care. But we are going to listen to some of the stupid words of Pencil Neck Schiff, only because he's really upset with this dismissal. It's bugging him. And I haven't actually listened to this, so this might be pissing me off afterwards. We'll see.
Does that mean you think there was an alternative to what Jack Smith did today?
Yes, I think there was an alternative. The alternative would have been to postpone further proceedings in the case until after he left office. Now, what Jack Smith did is seek to dismiss the case without prejudice. That means they can bring charges against Trump again once he leaves office. But it is nevertheless a very serious distinction, because the status quo now is no charges against the president. Mm-hmm. You would have to upset that status quo to later bring charges again, as opposed to merely postponing the proceedings, in which case the presumption is they continue when he leaves office. Now, Jack Smith relied on the opinion of lawyers within the department who said that they thought it was required by the Constitution to dismiss the case, but it isn't required by the Constitution. There's nothing that would interfere with his performance of the office, whether the case is dismissed without prejudice or merely postponed. So I think this is a serious mistake by the department. It compounds the mistake that you alluded to, which is they waited a year before they even brought this case forward or began the investigation. And then you have the Supreme Court with its immunity decision, and now you have a potential nominee in Pam Bondi who is saying she's going to prosecute the prosecutors. All of that goes against what Jack Smith said in his brief motion, which is that no one's above the law. So we're hearing that phrase a lot, but we're not giving validity to it by these actions.
It comes to mind just quickly the way they attacked lawyers that defended Trump and people that did anything, Sidney Powell, stuff like that. Like, oh, Giuliani, holy crap. Wow, poor Giuliani. We'll get there. We have a story, I think, on him. I'm pretty sure I got it. Special Counsel Jack Smith. It's America First Legal. They've done a lot. I'm going to spin through this quick. Special Counsel Jack Smith is forced to drop all of his trials. What they're basically saying is, look, Mr. Smith and his team of attorneys each had a special duty commensurate with their unique power as prosecutors to use that power properly without abuse. Yet, each served as a willing tool in the Biden-Harris government's unprecedented lawfare campaign against President Trump. The American people have a right to know the truth about Mr. Smith and to full transparency regarding his team's connections to and communications with Biden-Harris political officials. AFL will keep working tirelessly to expose the truth and protect our justice system. I love the people that I get to work with. That's all I can say. I don't work with them directly per se, but, well, I do, kind of. It's in an indirect kind of way. Anyway, whatever the case is. I don't know. It feels good. I go to sleep at night. Well, I'm still tripping on the whole side thing. I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to tell you guys some crazy shit because I've learned some weird stuff. And, yeah, my sleep experience is very interesting. Jack Smith plans to release reports before Donald Trump is sworn in. So a lot of people are kind of wondering, is this how they're going to try to, I don't know, smear him the best they can before? So he's going to release all of his reports. They don't have any confirmation on anything. There's a lot of stuff that Supreme Court got involved. Whatever. He's like, I'm going to drop my case. But here's my reports. Like, nothing's proved, but allegations all over the place, I'm sure. So, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to play his words because I don't care what the stupid dumb fuck says. But, I mean, he's not dumb, probably. He's just stupid. Trump officials to receive immediate clearance and easier FBI vetting. That's what they're kind of going for. Their transition team's planning for all political appointees to receive sweeping security clearances on the first day and only face FBI background checks after the incoming administration takes over the bureau and its own officials are installed in key positions, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, again, this would be the fox guarding the hen house. Let's be honest. I'm going to say it. I'll say it just to keep it out there. If Trump puts all his people in and his people actually look at his people and go like, oh, your people are fine. I mean, yeah. But the problem is, for anybody that's watching this going, Dan, okay, you're being fair. I like that because I don't trust any of the shit you guys say. The other side of it is like, your side absolutely hates everything. Like, you guys are Trump haters. Your whole government institutions have admitted this. So we can't trust them for sure. I think a lot of us are like, no, let's see some anti-cabal people in there doing an FBI background check that maybe they're somewhat, hopefully, transparent about to a degree or whatever they can when it comes to background checks, right? But, I mean, let's try this differently. Let's not do it your way anymore. Let's try some people. I don't know. I mean, I think we got MAGA and all this whole thing going on. I'm kind of putting some faith in here. You're right. It could go sideways. Or it could be glorious. I mean, again, what we've been doing, we're about to go over the waterfall for sure. And there's a dude that's like, no, you don't have to. And he's like, just kind of follow me and do what I say. And you're like, damn it. I had freedom in that boat about to go over the waterfalls. I feel like we're in a place right now where we need to think a little bit. We just have to, I stay on your toes, man, right? That's all I can say. TWC.health/OTF. Keep this in mind. I wish I could make this bigger. I'm going to work on that. The box is bigger. I just need to make the font bigger. But we got right here. Amazing company. Drew Pinsky, Dr. McCullough, and another gentleman, doctor as well. They actually literally set up prescriptions and stuff for you guys, but they have an amazing supplement line. These aren't actually prescription-based. These are supplements, so literally some amazing stuff. They've got things for bones and joints, right? Some of you guys maybe kind of ache in the morning and stuff. This is natural and healthy and really good products. Digestion and metabolism, energy and sleep support, immune support, heart health. They got kid crap. They got bison trifecta. This bison thing's kind of interesting. The med kits are the ones that I'm really important. So many people are speculating all sorts of crazy stuff about how viruses affect the body, how viruses are inside of us, right? Possibly even some use the word parasites. I think they're similar words in my opinion. Virus and a parasite. One would say probably from a scientific term, I would assume a parasite's a slightly more advanced organism, probably has certain levels of systems within its own self. All said, whether it's parasite or viruses, one thing that's kind of funny is ivermectin and HCQ are both antiviral, anti-parasitic medicines. Both of them. Antiviral, anti-parasitic. Literally. That's what they were invented for, especially HCQ. They have a contagion emergency kit. Guess what this has? Antiviral medications. Within 2 years, you can get a refill on it, by the way. So if for some reason you either A, get sick, or B, I don't know, maybe you take some of these every once in a while just to make sure you keep those viral issues down. Now, I did talk to my asthmatic friend finally, and generic Pulmicort is, she says, yes, no, yeah, that's asthma meds too. So you literally got 5 asthma meds in here, the nebulizer as well. So in case you have any emergencies in that regard, that's like, she's super bad asthma, and then another good friend that I hang out with, coffee. I've told you guys about my coffee group. My coffee group's got just amazing people. I love these people, like with all my love. Just like they're my family. One of them is also, his wife is heavily asthmatic, super asthmatic. She actually called the cops on a smoker in front of the store one time. It was one of the funniest moments ever in the history of me working there. But yeah, she did it nonetheless. But they have Tamiflu, super good, 10 tablets of that. They got a Z-Pack, also cool. But guess what? They also have ivermectin, 25 tablets, and they also have hydroxychloroquine, 20 tablets. Both of those are hardcore anti-parasitic agents, antiviral, anti-parasitic medicines. So there's a lot of things to consider. There are places where you can go, where you can maybe dial in. I've said the word of this compound. If you use that and then follow it with .com, I think they're made in India. Not 100% sure. I will say I've bought them and I've used them. I got sick one time and I used those and they worked fine for me. I don't know if their stuff works better. So whatever. I'm saying that in the middle of a commercial for something else, just to give you guys, I swear I'm always about you guys. I promise. I mean, I do benefit from this. But this is a product that can save lives when you're sick, when you got flus and viruses, stuff spinning through your body. So let's just say that. TWC.health/OTF. TWC, the wellness company. TWC.health/OTF. Protect yourself, protect your family. You've also got emergency kits, first aid kits. They've got such good products. Seriously, go to TWC.health/OTF. Look around. Certainly get the contagion kit, but look around. Look at supplements. Probably something you should look into. Powerful stuff. TWC.health/OTF. Yeah, it's all about health, folks. All about us taking that choice, too, and not listening to them anymore. Walmart's rolling back its DEI policies, becoming the latest U.S. firm to join the growing trend. Good to know, right? Finally. NATO reviving talks of sending European troops to Ukraine, warns business leaders to prepare for wartime scenario. A lot of talk coming from the standard people right now, right? That war. So again, they're hoping, praying war comes. I will see. I don't think we go full nuclear, but it could. I don't know. The way the movie's playing out, I don't want to spoil it for you, right? Russia may deploy new missiles units in Asia if U.S. missiles appear there. So if Russia, and I think that's Japan specifically, so if the United States puts missiles in Japan, which we've talked about putting because of China, which the story will come here in a second, here it is, then Russia will deploy missiles there as well. This is called escalation. This is called, let's go World War III, or whatever number it really is. So yeah, U.S. are going to deploy missiles to Japan islands if China attacks Taiwan. Now, not necessarily nukes, but probably also. Jair Bolsonaro has put out a statement in regards to, I think the French government, I guess. But former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has accused the French President Emmanuel Macron of trying to sabotage Brazilian economy after the French side continuously attempts to implode the EU-Mercosur trade deal, which has been stalled under French request for 25 years already. Wow. So some crazy stuff going on from those beggars over there. Court halts immunity granted to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, says Kenya. And Kenya's courts basically said, yeah, you guys no longer have this immunity clause anymore. It is now defunct, or whatever the proper term is. It's no longer valid. Sorry. If you show up in Kenya, God rest your merry little soul. And so, yeah, Bill Gates is finally being treated the way he should, as a criminal, really, frankly. Let's be somewhat obvious and honest. A trove of leaked audio recordings from late 2022 reveal high-ranking members of Brazil's army discussing efforts to pressure then President Jair Bolsonaro to carry out a coup and remain in power. So one of the things that Jair Bolsonaro, they're wanting to put him in jail for, is that people talk to him about taking over the government. The fact that somebody had a conversation with you about something radical means that you were going to carry out that radical thing. Now, if you're the FBI, obviously that's how it works, because 2 to 3 against the number of people you're planning on putting in jail, you're going to have twice as many people actually helping put them in jail at the same time. What do they call it? Judas goat? Yeah, basically. It's like the FBI. The FBI is a Judas goat, and they should change their emblem. So, yeah, they had a whole bunch of audios that were obtained about these conversations. People were having conversations. That's an easy way to frame someone, isn't it? Well, can you call so-and-so and talk to them about how you want to put your finger in their butt? And they're like, all right, totally. I don't know why, but sure, let's do it. And then they're like, ooh, I got this recording of you with somebody saying they want to put their finger in your butt. That obviously means you're gay. And you're like, no, it was weird. I hung up on them afterwards. Do you have that on the tape? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's crazy. And again, for all the people out there that like that, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to just using examples, Sometimes I pick on flat earth people. I was just picking on finger in the butt people at the moment. So, sorry. Tesla Inc.'s electric vehicles would be shut out of consumer rebates under the proposal by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's being such a douchehole that he's literally going to try to make it where Teslas don't get the tax benefit. It's everything that every other electric car is, but we're not going to let Tesla be a part of it. So, which of course is illegal, unfair practices. It'll be blasted in courts, and it's obviously because he's pissed off that Musk has moved everything almost out of California, and California keeps still doing douchey stuff. He was trying to launch something, and they were being ridiculous with the permits. So yeah, California, Newsom, you fudge face. Oh, time to smile. Yeah, dude, you're going down, home dog. Going down. That will be one of the big focuses over this next year. You guys are going to get tired of me talking about Newsom, but it's important, by the way. Huge amount of people in this state. And money, by the way. Huge money. Well, used to. Now we're just, poor. Now we're like Kenya. I wish we'd get to the point, though, where we'd say Gates can't come here. That'd be rad. Marsha Blackburn saying Facebook is silencing her attempt to speak out about Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Marsha Blackburn's she's being censored. Welcome to what it feels like to be shadow banned. Oh, it's awesome. It's great fun. Yeah, you see this you get thousands of views, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then all of a sudden you're like, I get 17 views now. I had literally 70,000 views on the last thing I did. Huh? It's a little hard on the ego. And then you wonder, does anybody see this? Or is any of these numbers right? Are they right? You got to wonder. There's a lot of questions. So, yeah, man, Ms. Blackburn she's in some Trump, she's in one of these little committees or whatever the hell that's going to try to make America great again. So, whatever. Hopefully she helps. And now she's pissed, extra pissed. Judge schedules trial in Meta antitrust case. They're pissed off at Meta for having the messaging services, Instagram and WhatsApp. And so that's what this whole thing's about. They almost dismissed it at one point. It's still moving on. I don't know, whatever. Hopefully it does. Don't get me wrong. I hate that crap, but nah. Angry Rudy Giuliani lashed out at courts Tuesday at the judge presiding over the collection proceeding for the $146 million defamation judgment against him for those 2 girls in Georgia. They don't deserve that much money. Sorry. And complained he's having a hard time making ends meet. So he's trying to, like, what? Like, you want everything I have. You've tied up all my cards, all my business card, everything I got. I can't pay my bills. He lost his lawyers. The judges locked down everything. U.S. District Judge Lewis Lehman said the former personal lawyer to Donald Trump had not been complying with these court orders. He's like, dude, I can't even afford to go to my favorite restaurants. He didn't say that, but basically. Of course, NBC's putting this out because they want to smear him to the best of their ability. Not the BLLC moves to intervene and unseal in USA versus Dr. Ethan Haim. Ethan, whatever. Ethan Haim. The Dillon Law Group, on behalf of client Not the BLLC, has taken legal action to unseal critical documents in the criminal case against Dr. Ethan Haim, a whistleblower accused of exposing controversial transgender medical practices for minors at that Texas Children's Hospital. Obviously, they tried to hide all that stuff because they didn't want the public finding out about it. Well, Not the BLLC, their legal team is suing to get action to that, or access to it. News outlets push pro-union stories while taking undisclosed cash from organized labor. Yep, trio of liberal publications raked in hundreds of thousands of dollars from the teachers' unions, and they've been talking about the teachers' unions and promoting the teachers' unions while receiving money from the teachers' unions, which, by the way, for any of the teachers out there, comes from your dues. So they've been paying a few different rags money. So the New Republic, the American Prospect, and the Courier Newsroom have collectively accepted $905,000 since 2022 from the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association, according to the union's financial disclosures. They've been controlling the narrative with money. This is how you do that. You get in close with people, you offer them money, jobs, whatever, and that way if they ever betray you, you're like, look, you could lose everything. I don't know why I sound like I'm a mafia guy when I do that, but if the shoe fits, you know, sometimes you sleep with fishes. Or a horse's head. Not sure. Controversial Muslim nonprofit CAIR, C-A-I-R? Yeah, they were once linked to Hamas. It's a must reveal donors after ex-employee claims it accepts foreign funding. So they're getting money from all these foreign sources. This U.S. Magistrate Judge David Schultz ruled Monday that CAIR's donors, funding sources, potentially including foreign ones, and any assets owned by the group are all within the scope of permissible discovery as part of this lawsuit that's going on. Former chapter leader Lori Soroya, she was, they kind of went after her a little bit, put a lawsuit against her. Then they ended up dropping it because her lawyers were like, we're going to get discovery on you. And they're like, no, we're dropping the case on the funding specifically. And so they dropped the case. And now the lawyers are like, no, we're going after you anyway. We've already been this far down the road and you've already done what you've done to us. No, we're taking this all the way. Yeah. And so the judge is like, no, they can totally hit you guys for these sources. Let's get the game going. Game on. So this group, CAIR, is about to they're going to get stared down. The Care Bear stare is going to happen against them. They're going to do their little thing in the mirror, and then it'll be bad. Do those still exist, Care Bears? I haven't even heard of those ever since when I was younger. Maybe the Mandela effect got rid of them. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm asking for a friend. It's possible. Oh, this is, okay. And I'm not trying to start a fight with flat earth people, but I thought this guy, though a little aggressive at first, said it well. And I know people kind of too. So all said, we don't have to believe. Nobody has to believe. How do I get in there easier? That's not it. That's for sure. Huh. All right, I'll just read it. Flat Earth people, please take that shit elsewhere. I know too many real people who actually worked in the space program. There have been more than 100,000 such people, and I can do actual math. Short of Elon taking you up to orbit to see for yourself, you will never believe anything anybody says to you. So move along. Anybody still thinking the Earth is flat is just as anti-science as Fauci. Did we fake video of moon landing because NASA are a bunch of lying a-holes? Yes. Does that prove we never sent anything to the moon? No. And that's 100% right. And I 100% agree. We definitely have fake photos. There's photos with shadows going all over the place. There's definitely fake photos. Definitely. Doesn't mean we didn't go there. Could possibly mean we saw stuff we didn't want to admit to seeing. In fact, many say, why did we stop going to the moon? Many suggest because we were told if you come back, we'll have problems. NASA programs have been charging $2 billion or more per launch, and over 90% of that money going into various pockets via contract grifts, or even black projects, by the way, secret space programs, etc. Huge incentive to keep the program inefficient and just the way it is. Huge incentive to propaganda the public into thinking it is accomplishing things so Congress can keep the money flowing. So there's reasons why a lot of people suggest, a couple big pieces of proof. One's the NASA landings, two's the laser experiment. Both of those things are kind of actually somewhat explainable. The distance of the laser just goes barely beyond, right? Barely beyond. Like, I don't know, miles, few miles, whatever. I don't know. You guys all know. I don't want to watch the videos. Don't send video links to me. I've watched a bunch of them. And I'm not trying to fight this. I'm just saying the laser thing, it actually bends through the horizon. There's a thing called if you've ever seen on a hot road, right? It'll look like there's water on the road. That's because water through the light and the refraction of the light going through that, it's causing a weird visual distortion. It's happened. I've seen that a bunch of times. So these are actual real phenomena. So because light does bend through atmosphere, at certain distances, especially when you're getting closer to the curvature, you can actually bend it through the atmosphere a little bit and get a hair further, percentage-wise. But you can't go twice as far. Nobody's even come close to demonstrating that if the Earth's flat. You should easily be able to shoot a laser 50 miles. I'm not even saying to Japan, which you should be able to do if that's true, but you can't. So there's a lot of things that I think people are I'm not going to ever believe you no matter what because I believe the Earth's flat. And it's that's totally cool. But there's a lot of things that are then how to, I don't know, have you ever seen a, meteorite come in? How does that happen in a flat world model? It's weird. It's just, I don't know. I ask. I'm not trying to be a dick. I swear. I'm it's just weird. I don't know. I mean, I got some very close people to me that believe the Earth's flat. Panic in space as astronauts on NASA's ISS report toxic smell and contamination. So this Russian thing, supply docking thing, whatever, Soyuz or whatever it was, docked into the Russian part of this station and docked with it. And it had like droplets of stuff and it smelled weird. Some are saying paint. So it smelled weird. So something strange was in there. Not sure what exactly. They've shut the door between the Russian part and the rest of the space station. The Russian part's like an add-on. They're trying to deal with this or whatever. They're still looking into it. They've also got a leak, by the way. I'm almost wondering if that's what's in the space station. This thing it's probably like Fix-A-Flat is my guess. Almost, it smells like paint, which would almost make it seem like styrofoam or some sort of chemicals that can create that. And so maybe it bonds to wherever the leak is, because they've got a significant leak. And that's actually kind of, to my mind, the big part of the story. They got a significant leak happening in the Russian part of the space station. And this leak has increased significantly. Let's see, air was escaping. February this year, NASA was forced to hold press conference on the issue as the amount of air escaping temporarily increased from 0.2 pounds per day to 2.4 pounds per day. That's a big dump. This report, published in September by NASA's Office of the Inspector General, confirmed that the leak hit record rates in April, losing 3.7 pounds of air every day. And I think that's as bad as it's gotten so far. So my wonder is this the attempt of the Russians to do kind of a Fix-A-Flat? And they're don't open the door between us unless you have to. So they're still allowed to go back and forth between, but it seems very much like they might be trying to fix the Russian problem And so there might have been some stuff inside the Russian capsule that they knew the second they opened up the door in zero space gravity and the leak, it would start to pull this stuff towards the leak, and that it would hit there and chemicals would form, and it would probably be some sort of foam type thing, I would think, and that it would slowly accumulate and, create a seal. And then once the seal happens, then I don't know, maybe they can get rid of the stuff through the scrubbers, because they got scrubbers too, and that can suck stuff through. So anyway, something weird's going on at the space station. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Let's see, was that it? That was it. So a lot going on in the world. We're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to keep fighting on, and we're going to keep making a difference. I want to remind you guys, for those of you that like to help support the channel, we have a great way you can do that. A good friend of mine is printing these shirts herself, and so she ships them herself. It's like pretty cool. She's helping her family, her and her husband and her 2 kids. I just like kind of being involved with this. They do some really good products that help support my channel, and I'm helping a good cause in the big picture. So if you want to do that too, one, help spread the message, certainly, and my wonderful products. I love my little logo. Love my logo. Love it. Proud of it. But we got a lot of ways. You got sweatshirts, long sleeves, baseballs are the ones I love, of course. We've got a lot of great ways you can get this wonderful shirt. And the Great American Awakening. Ready for it, guys? The Great Awakening, I should say. We've also got the 9/11 shirt. We've got the 6/11 when Trump was shot on, July 13th. Got a whole suit of those. And it's, again, the same types of shirts, just great messages. And she puts wonderful phrases on the back. So it's just like all this information on the back. You seriously got to check it out. You need to go to truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. Truththread.shop. Check out all the cool shirts. And when you click on the pictures, you get the backs of them. Like just one example right here. And there it is. Boom. Never forget. Never forget. Never surrender. So yeah, a lot of great information. And it talks about how things happen in 9/11. Helps make people aware. You're standing in line someplace, you're going to Disneyland, you're going to Six Flags, whatever, right? Here's a chance. Here's a chance to inspire those behind you. Give them information while they're bored in line. They'll read the whole damn thing all day long. That's right. Truththread.shop. Truththread.shop. And if we're real lucky, you'll actually send me pictures so I can actually put them in the next movie, because I make these little mini movies, right? Cool little songs. I'll pump you up, and a bunch of cool pictures of people wearing the shirts with pride. So please check it out. Go to truththread.shop and help be a part of the change, and help out a lot of great people, channel included. So there you said. A lot going on. Like I said, folks, I love you guys. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep pushing along, and we are going to change the world day at a time. But it's happening. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.